Okay, well, this time on the laboratory, this was sent to me. It's just the bottom half of a Mr. Grinch set. I was told it was Department 56, but there's no marking on it other than the bottom where it says Disney, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Dr. Seuss movie, 2000 Universal Studios. It's all right there. You can pause it if you want to try and read it. Anyhow, it doesn't work, and in shipping, his head got a couple of pieces broke off, which are right here. So they're going to have to be glued back on. What's happening is it was purchased as a known functioning item by the person that sent it to me, and just doing a quick check on it, there's two problems. One, it's got a broken gear inside here, and two, when I put batteries in here, it doesn't work. I tried cleaning the contacts a little, still doesn't work. So that means the contacts at the top are bad, or this diode is bad. But it's a 3-volt little house, or piece. So I'll stick the positive on the positive. My machine's set for 3 volts. And the negative on the negative. And we'll get it closer to the camera so you can see. You'll see the gears are turning, and then they stop. And you can see the motor spinning. If I give it a little bit of assistance, you can hear it clicking. And there we go, now it's turning again. And then it stops. It's very indicative of a broken gear. And it's causing the pulley to spin on the shaft. So, and here's the most ironic part of this whole thing. I just got this in the mail today. And 8 days ago, neighbor down the street that had that big display that I showed on one of the previous videos, it was Christmas lights, gave me a broken house that was, well, it was weathered and it was not usable anymore, missing a lot of pieces and cracked. So I took the mechanism out of it. And here's the mechanism. They're identical, except for the color of the gear. It's the exact same thing. So, if it's got a broken gear, this one works perfectly, which I'll show you. We'll hook up the positive. Negative. You can see the gear is turning, and it's not stopping. So the house was broken, but the mechanism inside was not. So I have spare parts. This is why, again, I mentioned in one of the previous videos, I don't throw stuff away because you never know when you're going to need it. Now, they used hot glue to glue the stuff down. They did the same thing right there on that one. So I'm going to chip away the hot glue. Get it out. That's it. It's just right here around the motor. Then there's 2 screws on the bottom, which is that one and that one. I know there's screws on the top. That's how you take the gear pack apart. I'm going to take the bottom out first so I can take the whole assembly out as one piece. Like so. So, here's the full assembly. Now I can look down inside. Some debris, piece of foam from shipping. And I can see the internals. And now I can rotate them. Yep, this little gear right here is split. This itty bitty 10-tooth output gear. So, let's check this one. This one also has the same 2 screws as far as location. The type of screw is different. That one uses a flat pan head and a tapered head screw. This one just uses 2 pan heads. Gears are off. Oh, and surprisingly, this one's cracked too. But it overpowered it. which is odd. So there's a little gear right here. It's a 10-tooth gear. It's split. So there's a lot of stress on that gear. If it was a Lee-Max, that'd be the gear that comes right off the motor. The pulley would be connected to it. In this case, the pulley is connected to a worm gear, which drives another gear on a shaft, and that gear then drives the crack gear. I'll try and bring it up to the camera's height here. So the pulley is right there. It drives a worm gear down inside here, which then turns this gear right there, which then this gear is the one that's cracked. You can see I can slide it, turn it without the shaft turning. You can see my fingers holding the gear. And then the crack, which probably isn't going to be so visible. Lost the screw. Is right there. You can see I can just kind of stick the screwdriver in there. Same one on that. So some spare parts, just not the spare part I need to fix the unit. But I ordered from Amazon to try them little gears that are supposedly approximately the same size. So I get to try them out. So let's take this apart. First, pull off the band. Second, gotta remove these 3 screws. 1, 2, there you go, 3. Pop the top. There's the worm gear. It turns. I'm just going to check it to make sure it looks okay and it's not slipping the pulley. Nope. Here's the rest of the gearbox. Here's the output shaft, which there's the drive gear, and then there's the output gear that is a pinion gear that drives this gear set right here. And they're nice and tight. And now we got a little transfer shaft in here. And I shouldn't be able to turn the big gear and hold the little gear because it is split. So let's see if this baggie of gears I got off of Amazon are the right ones. Normally I just dig through everything until I find the right gear, and it gets real annoying. So I decided to actually try and buy a set. So it is the actual outside diameter. It looks like the inside hole is one size too small. I can't get it over the armature. So I'm going to have to find the drill bit that's the same size as this, not the knurled part down here, but this upper shaft, and then drill out the center. So I'll pull out a mic or a caliper, pop the battery in it. I don't like leaving the batteries in these digital ones due to the fact that if they leak, it ruins the system. There we go. Let's wait, come on. Apparently I didn't get the battery in all the way. There we go. Zero it out. What do I do? Get grease on it? Oh, that is weird. Seems like everything works until I put it on camera. Then nothing works. Give me just a second here. I'll while I fix the power contacts that are apparently distorted. There we go. Apparently pushing the battery in and out too many times. So zero out the thing. It says 0 millimeters. So it's a 2 millimeter shaft. It says 1.98. It's actually 2. So let's turn it off. So I need a 2 millimeter drill bit. So I got this, which doesn't work. It only goes up to 1.6. Same with this kit. These are micro drill bits. That's why they say micro box on them. I showed them off once in a previous video. They work in these handheld drills, which are usually used for PCB boards or fine working. It says my 2.0 is either missing or is in the drill currently. So, turn it back on, zero it out. Yep, this is my 2 mil drill. So, carefully, try not to hurt yourself if you do this. Just gonna turn on low. That was low. Slide it over the knurled section. What that does is I'm forcing it on. I'm actually using quite a bit of tension. I am causing the knurled section to cut its own grooves into the gear. Because there's no grooves, of course. You just saw me drill it out, so you know it's not going to be pre-done. Now we're going to stick this all back together and see if it works. So, stick the worm gear back in, put the housing back together correctly. So, you might have to spin the pulley, which is what I'm doing, to get it to line up to the teeth. You don't want to just push it in and have it skip all the teeth because you could chip the other ones. So apparently this kit from Amazon, if I find the order number, I will link them in the description. It has these fine little, I think they're called 10 teeth gears. They're basically the same gears as Lemax, and for their most common gear that cracks. That's what I've been told. Wasn't sure, just ordered them. They are. Apparently they have like a 1.6 millimeter hole. Most of the stuff on Lemax or most hobby motor shafts are 2 mil. And yes, they're metric, so you have to get used to it if you're not doing the metric stuff. So, metric because everything is made in China, overseas. So once you make stuff overseas, you're going to probably get all metric. I didn't snug that up. That's just tight enough to hold it and allow me to slide this one in, try and position the hole. There's the hole. So this might be the quickest repair ever. Of course, I don't want to jinx it. There we go. Nice and tight. Put the pulley back on, the belts on the, oops. The longest part was probably just fixing the little power pin on my tool there, since apparently one of the times I took it out or let somebody use it, they or I did, knocked the negative inside underneath the edge. So there we go. It is now spinning. What I'm going to do is we're going to put the Grinch ring on. So, and we're going to tip the cables up. And then I'm going to try with batteries. There he goes. Not moving quick, but he is moving. Probably not a speed racer. So yeah, broken. Like I said, I believe it's called 10 tooth. While he's going around, let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, there are 10 teeth. Let's get rid of that little guy. Looky, looky. Look, I could even fix this one if I wanted, except this one again was bought for parts, or got for parts, would have bought. Now, let's do the batteries before I flip it over. One, two, and cold. Let's try that again. There we go. It's actually got some pretty strong springs in there for a battery pack. Yeah, see, it does not turn. Now it does. So if the battery pack's cocked open, it works, but as soon as I close it, it stops. So, it's probably got dirty contacts. So, use a little bit of sandpaper. Clean off the corrosion. These back in. Negative, positive, and no, if I push on it, it works. All right. Cleaning the upper springs are going to be a little bit harder. You can desolder and lift these pins and push them out. What I'm going to try and do is use a screwdriver and scrape the springs. They don't look bad, just losing contact unless this is still bad. Oh, this thing's just nasty dirty. I'm doing the bottom so I can re-glue it back on. Here's just some of the stuff. Normally I just use rubbing alcohol. This has got lots of green corrosion. Rubbing alcohol will get through some of it, but it won't get through as much as that's on here. Sanding paper or a sanding block, which I have one in here somewhere. I don't know where it went. I usually keep some sandpapers around for this reason. You get, especially when I get ones from the guy down the road that has the outdoor display, I need something that'll dig through the corrosion from being outside. still recommend rubbing alcohol, but if you got something heavy, a little sandpaper does a good job. Alright, so the contacts are working. I can hear the motor turning, so I have it in the on position, so I'm turning it off. And I will be gluing this back on. Don't worry. This is just for testing. So there we go. I'll be gluing it back on at the same time I glue his little hair bubbles back on. I'll get my glue out. I use the blue cap works too, but I prefer the yellow because it has the brush. It's the brush and nozzle one for quick repairs. I've seen my other videos. I use this for the longer set repairs that have to be super strong, because a lot of super glues you can crack them back off accidentally or purposely, whereas this stuff, once it hardens, it's virtually impossible. But this takes 24 hours a set. For fixing a battery pack clip and fixing his head, I'm not holding it for a day. And if you stick it in a vise or a clamp of some sort, such as helping hands, you risk gluing it to the jaws. So for small stuff like this, the brush and nozzle works perfectly. And I like the brush feature, so I try to buy these, but they seem to be out of stock a lot, and I don't know why. Maybe everybody else is fixing their stuff too. But as you can see, this one was a relatively easy repair. Just gives you an idea. I will try and find the listing for Amazon and put it in the description below. So if you want to buy the 10 pack of gears or the 10 teeth gears, you can. I believe it's a package of 25, and if I remember right, it was like $6 or $8. But this is the most common gear to break on Limax. But you will have to get yourself a micro drill or a 2mm drill on average to drill out the armature shaft. You're going to want to check them because not all of them are the same. I have come across some that ran like a 3mm and a 4mm shaft, which makes the sidewalls really thin, which is why I recommend especially a digital one. You can use an old school dial one if you want. It doesn't run on batteries like this. But for precision, I use this one. For basic stuff, I use this one. This one is a Harbor Freight. This one wasn't. They look the same as far as the casing goes. This one I bought for doing engines where the tolerances are much, much tighter than a gear. So if you don't trust pressing the knurling on, you can always put a drop of super glue on the knurling as you slide it. That'll put a little ridge around the base of the gear that'll hold it in place if you do not trust it. I have done that many a times for things that have a heavy rotating amount of mass. This doesn't. I'm not too concerned. Plus, as you can see, it's working just fine. She has a lot of force. So, anyhow, this is the first one of the things that he sent that's Grinch related. I'm going to finish the gluing so I can get it repackaged. The next piece, if I can get it taken apart correctly, we'll film that one too. It's another Grinch item. It's not quite Limax, but you know, I do animated repairs for a lot of different things. And it's always the seeing how it's done that gives you ideas on how to fix maybe your own house or your own Grinch or your own train set, like the Limax trains. Sometimes the drive gear breaks. You have to take those apart. So, thanks for watching. Until the next one, have a good one.